When absolute insanity becomes accepted normality, you know that we've got a very, very serious problem indeed. And over the years, the public, we the British public, have been somewhat desensitised over the persecution of ordinary people. People like Tommy Robinson, for an example, continually jailed time and time and time again, and were still jailed without a jury to decide his guilt or innocence. And for what? Nothing much more than telling the truth, really. The media and the powers that be have ensured that the public believe in their bogeyman myths, and they've done a very, very good job of it, haven't they? Insanity. We're being concerned about rape gangs. We're being proud of being British. We're being concerned about your kids and the female members of your family. We're hoping that you can retain just a resemblance of the Christian culture that you were brought up with and your background, where you can be arrested for calling a man just because he identifies as a she, where our children's heritage is being denied in our schools, and where the justice system wants to sentence people differently because of the colour of their skin. You see, we are experiencing a persecution for having normal feelings. Lucy Connolly, for an example, was sent to jail for nothing more than speaking her grief and her anger out loud. Watch this.
When the nation heard of the brutal killings of these 3 children, it knew something wasn't right. The Prime Minister described Axel Ruda-Cabana as a Welshman, which was deflection. There's no way in the world that Axel Ruda-Cabana is a Welshman. He may be a British citizen, he may live in Cardiff, but the colloquial construction of a Welshman is someone outstanding in his field. And that's the image that the Prime Minister wished to convey. He wished to deflect from the reality of the fact that this was a second-generation Rwandan who had attacked 3 white children, infants, and he tried to behead one of them. Lucy Connolly did not have to give any mitigating circumstances for her behavior. She was angry. And in a moment of anger, like lots of human beings, she posted something which she subsequently regretted. She said things that she subsequently regretted. We've all been there in a moment of anger. She deleted it an hour later. And yet, the criminal justice system, which the Prime Minister directed to arrest people like Lucy Connolly, moved to his order. And I think, actually, Kevin, if you look, there are 71 or 72 people who were arrested for what they said and not what they did in the aftermath of those protests. They are all serving criminal sentences. So all hats off to Alison Pearson for bringing this to our attention. But this is something that should have been in the British psyche from August 2024. And people like Peter Lynch should have had an inquiry after their death. It is an absolute abomination of British justice that we've got 72 odd people in jail, in prison, because of what they said, not because of what they did, particularly in the aftermath of such a brutal killing, which was deflected by the Prime Minister. And I know we're going to talk about Lindsay Hoyle. Lindsay Hoyle got up in Parliament, and I'm going to bring this up again when we talk about
Please do.
But he got up in Parliament and he shut up the MPs and he said, you mustn't talk about the killings. You mustn't talk about the killings for fear of compromising the case. But what he effectively did was stop parliamentarians from challenging the Prime Minister, Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, and Merseyside Police, who should have been challenged, and the challenging of which would not have compromised the case against Axel Ruda-Cabana one iota. Because what we saw in the aftermath of the killing of those infants in Southport was a miscarriage of justice at the hands of our Prime Minister.
Now, here's the deal. The British are very, very tolerant people. Too tolerant for our own good, if the truth be told. But in jailing people like Tommy and like Lucy, what the left and this rotten Labour government are doing, well, they're creating and feeding a monster. This Just right means far right nonsense needs to stop before it's too late, because insanity becoming normality is killing this country and our children's futures. And just recently, a 32-year-old pro-Palestine demonstrator, Jamila Zadran, was spared jail after being seen on camera spitting directly into a police officer's face, not once but twice, later claiming that the spit was actually aimed at Jews rather than the police, like that somehow made it an excusable offence. No jail time for Jamila, just a mere 150 hours of community service. Lucy Connolly never spat at anyone. Her victimless crime led to an absolutely obscene length of incarceration. Insanity becoming normality. And I'm afraid to say, it hurts to say, that the UK is now a laughingstock right across the Western world, especially when it comes to our once admired freedoms and laws, once the envy of the world and copied and reproduced by many. Our justice system is now seen as being seriously flawed, two-tiered and utterly biased against its very own people. And I'm told that this Labour government right now are jailing more people for social media posts than Vladimir Putin's Russia. Yes, insanity has become the new normality. We've been desensitised to knife crime, murder, violent assaults, and we've accepted that our children are in danger from strange men from, well, who knows where they're from. And these are not even news headlines anymore. They're not making the headline stories because they've become just another everyday regular occurrence. And worse still, if you even dare talk about some of this stuff or criticise certain religions, then you risk being arrested and sent to jail. How did we ever get here? And where will it all end? Today, right here, in this once great land of freedom, 12,000 people a year are being arrested for offensive speech. That's 32 people every single day of the week getting a knock on the door for nothing more than talking, whilst drug dealers and violent offenders are being released early back into our communities. Yes, the lunatics have taken over the asylum, and I'm afraid that we are all inmates. But in reality, we are where we deserve to be. We've asked for it. Years of cowardice, neglect, and a failure to stick together has brought us here. And let's be honest, we've only got ourselves to blame. The biggest question of our lifetime, the biggest question of this generation is this: when, oh when, if ever, will the British people wake up?